The Church adopted this symbol of the 666 God and places it in the hands of its own deities, such as Mary and Jesus. Another form of holding up the universe is seen as being done by Catholicos or Atlas in this picture. We find that it's reflected in Roman Catholic altars and on the top of the tiara in the Vatican, where a large globe is found on the top of it, and a great orb is found at the top of St. Peter's Basilica. On this stone, found in South America, even these primitive people worship the sun. And we can see that one of the symbols of the sun is a triangle. Far away, thousands of miles across the ocean in Northern Ireland, we see that these ancient Irish people, pagans, carved the triangle on their great monolithic stones as a symbol of the sun. The American Indians carved that triangle on their terracotta coins as a symbol of deity. In Egypt, the triangle also was a symbol of the sun god. Pythagoras used the symbol of the triangle to represent all the mystical powers of God. Wherever we go in the pagan world, that triangle is seen. In the Rosicrucian Museum in San Jose, that symbol is a part of the Rosicrucian symbolism. As we go through the churches, we'll find that they've adopted this symbol of pagan origin as a symbol of the God of Christianity. An equilateral triangle is 360-degree angles, and it represents the 666 God. It has no place in the church. Another worship was the worship of the eye. It represented the eye of God and was found in the capstones of the pyramid. Here in the center of this capstone, you'll see a circle with a dot. It represents the eye of Osiris, which was worshipped in fear by the Egyptian pagans. They kept eyes in their pockets to protect them from the evil eye. Even in Rome, we see that this form of worship was adopted, and on this pagan Roman grave is carved a giant eye as a symbol of God. This Masonic pin illustrates the concept that the eye of God is placed in the equilateral triangle. That eye in a triangle is looking down at you from the great dome in Santiago de Compostela's cathedral, or in this confessional box in Torino, Italy, or in this pulpit in the Church of St. Louis in France. Everywhere you go, the church uses the equilateral triangle and the eye of pagan idolatry as a symbol of the Christian God. Another symbol is that of two equilateral triangles placed over itself. It represents the generative principles of nature, and in the center of it is the all-seeing eye of God. All around it are the 36 sections of the zodiac, or the 36 decans that add up to the number 666. Aleister Crowley designed this pentagram or hexagram. We see in the center of it the number 6 and the sun. These symbols are found in the Christian churches as well as in the system of pagan idolatry. Here on a Catholic altar is that satanic symbol in the floor of a cathedral in England, and on the ceiling in Westminster Cathedral in London. Everywhere you go, you'll see these symbols that came from the occult in the church. Here in San Francisco, in the Jesuit chapel there, San Francisco University, the same symbolism. Now that hexagram forms a six-sided object in the center. It was believed that the bee who pollinated the flowers formed the hexagram in the wax because it was a symbol of God, and the bee can be found in the artwork throughout the churches. The pentagram is a symbol of the cosmic forces, whether up or down. We find it used in Satan worship, as well as in the worship of Lucifer. But here you'll find that symbol on Catholic altars and in floors. The scallop shell was a symbol of the universe, or the universal power. We see it reflected in many ways here on the head of Neptune, ruler of the seas, or here held up by Atlas or Catholicos. On this Roman grave in Rome, Italy, the scallop shell represents the universe, and the stairway represents the stairways to heaven. Venus is being born on that pagan symbol, the scallop shell, and here in the scallop shell, she's disrobing herself. This is a Greek coin with a scallop shell. And here a pagan Venus stands with a scallop shell open, a symbol of sexual fertility. The church adopted that sexual symbol, that symbol of cosmic forces, and you'll find it throughout the churches today. Even in St. Peter's Basilica, we see a great painting of Jesus being sprinkled by a scallop shell. In Santiago de Compostela, that scallop shell represents the brother of Jesus, St. James. And we find these shells are used as fonts to hold the holy water for people that enter the churches. In Westminster Cathedral, beneath the floors of the church is a chapel for funerals. If you look carefully at the apex of the arches, where the symbol of deity should be, they've placed a great gold scallop shell. In the Vatican in Rome, we find that one of the most prominent symbols of the church there is of a great big scallop shell, symbol of the astrological powers. It has no connection with Christianity at all. And here on the floor at the Chiesa del Gesù, the Church of the Jesuit, is a sun connected to the scallop shells. The ancients believed that as the sun went into the sea, it became a fish god. In Babylon, that god's name was Owains. We find in India the name of the setting sun was Vishnu, or the fish. Neptune was part fish as well, the ruler of the seas. And in Egypt, we find that Isis transformed herself into a fish while looking for the dead body of her husband. We find that in Assyria, this concept of the fish was worshipped as well. On this Wasserbecken, or this laver that's set before a pagan temple, we find that there are carvings of priests all around it. These priests have an interesting outfit on. On their heads they're wearing fish heads, or as Layard, the archaeologist, called them, fish's mitres. We find that reliefs from Canaan show that the priests of Dagon wore these fish's hats upon their heads, or these fish's mitres, as a symbol of their worship to Dagon, the sun fish. In Asia Minor, we find that in the Mysteries of Sybil, they portrayed her as wearing this sacred fish's mitre. Indeed, throughout paganism, here and there, you'll find that the priests wore this sacred fish's mitre. And here it is adopted into the church. Even today, they're still wearing that fish's mitre, or that fish head on their head with its mouth open. Another symbol of the sun is the three high horn crown. It was a symbol that the sun ruled the heavens, the earth, and the world of the dead, or the underworld. It can be seen reflected in the artwork throughout the pagan world. And here we see a Mesopotamian king with a tiara on his head, Krishna with a tiara on his head from India, and the apostate Hebrew religion of the Kabbalah shows that their great sun god, the 666 god, wore upon his head the tiara, the three high crown. The church adopted this three high crown to show the pagan world that the Pope himself was the God on this earth. In the Vatican today, we'll find that there's a great tiara that represents that position of the Pope and is used in certain ceremonies. The crescent, as it lays on its back, is not the moon. It represents the female sexual powers and was worshipped as the womb of heaven. Here it is on the cylinder seal 2,500 years before Christ. It shows it as the deity of the skies.